Korean Mafia boss came to evict his black maid, but everything changed when he saw her with three. Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our new videos. Where are you watching from? Drop your city in the comments below. Now let us return to our main character. Junseo Park did not do compassion. As the youngest and most feared boss of the Baekho Syndicate in Los Angeles, he had built his empire on silence, precision, and the absolute elimination of weakness. People were assets or liabilities. Emotions were vulnerabilities he could not afford. So when word reached him that his late father's former housekeeper had been living rent-free in one of his properties for 6 months, the solution should have been simple. Send someone to remove her, reclaim what belonged to him, move on. But that rainy Thursday morning, something compelled him to handle it personally. Maybe it was the memory of his father, maybe it was fate. He found himself driving through Koreatown toward a small house his father had once used as a safe house. He pulled up to a building with weathered siding and toys scattered across the wet concrete. He knocked once, firm and final, prepared to deliver an ultimatum he had delivered 100 times before. But when the door opened, everything stopped. A woman stood there, early 30s, exhaustion carved into her face, but defiance burning in her dark brown eyes. Her skin was a deep, warm ebony, her hair pulled back in a simple braid. Behind her, 3 small faces peered out, 2 boys and a little girl, all wide-eyed and silent. Grace Williams' voice trembled. "Please, Mr. Park, I just need more time. Your father promised me this place. I lost my job last month. The children, Junseo had heard every excuse. But then the youngest child, barely 5 years old, stepped forward and pushed a crumpled piece of paper into his hand. It was a drawing, a heart colored in red and pink with the words, "For Mommy," scrawled in a child's handwriting. And something cracked inside the man who had sworn never to let anything crack. What happened next would change both their lives forever. Before we continue, drop a comment and let us know where you are watching from. If you are new here, hit subscribe. You will not want to miss how this unfolds. Junseo Park stood at the windows of his penthouse office on the 40th floor of Baekho Tower, looking out over Los Angeles. From up here, everything looked controllable. That was how he preferred it. His office reflected the man he had become. Minimalist, precise, no photographs, no personal touches, nothing that hinted at a life beyond the power he wielded. The door opened. Only one person had that privilege. "Good morning, Hyung." "Good morning, Daejung." Kang Daejung had been his second in command for 8 years. He placed a leather folder on the desk. 3 territories consolidated yesterday, and there is a matter regarding one of your father's old properties. Junseo flipped open the folder. A small house in Koreatown, occupied by someone who had not paid rent in 6 months. Why is this unresolved? The occupant is Grace Williams, your father's housekeeper for 12 years. She claims he promised her the house. Junseo's jaw tightened. Send someone to handle it. Daejung hesitated. She has 3 children. Her husband died 4 years ago. He was one of our drivers, killed during the Serpent Gang incident. Junseo remembered that night, the ambush that took his father and 3 men. A driver named Marcus Williams had been among the casualties. That does not change the situation, Junseo said, though his voice had lost some edge. I just thought you should know. Junseo picked up the file again. 847 Wilshire Lane. He should delegate this, but instead he said, "I will handle this personally." Daejung blinked. "You? Clear my morning." The drive to Koreatown took 30 minutes. Junseo sat in the back of his Mercedes while the city blurred past. The rain had started, drumming against the roof. They turned onto Wilshire Lane, modest houses, some well-maintained, others showing struggle. Number 847 was a 2-story structure with faded yellow paint and a sagging porch. A rusted tricycle lay near the steps. A cracked basketball hoop stood forgotten. Junseo stepped out into the rain. As he approached, he noticed chalk drawings on the sidewalk, half washed away. A small garden bed, overgrown but clearly tended once. A handmade wreath on the door. Someone had tried to make this a home. He knocked 3 times and waited. The door opened slowly. Grace Williams was younger than expected, early 30s. Her skin was deep brown, her hair in a simple braid, dark circles under her eyes, but her gaze was steady. "Can I help you?" "Mrs. Williams, my name is Junseo Park. I believe you knew my father." Recognition flickered, followed by fear, but she did not back down. "I know who you are. I have been calling your office for weeks. I am aware. That is why I am here." Grace's hand tightened on the doorframe. "I just need more time. Your father promised me. I lost my job last month, but I have interviews. I just need..." She stopped as three small faces appeared behind her. The oldest was a boy, maybe 11, with serious eyes. He stood protectively close to his mother. The second was younger, 8 or 9, and the youngest was a little girl, no more than 5, with bright eyes and puffy ponytails, clutching a stuffed rabbit. Junseo's prepared speech died in his throat. Grace's voice broke through. "Please, I am not asking for charity. This is the only home my children have ever known." The little girl stepped forward. "Are you here to help my mommy?" Grace quickly placed a hand on her shoulder. "Zoe, go inside with your brothers." "But mommy, now baby." The oldest boy took Zoe's hand and led her away, glancing back with a protective scowl. Grace turned back to Junseo. "I know you have every right to remove us, but I am asking you, person to person, one more month." Before he could respond, Zoe reappeared. She ran up and thrust a crumpled paper into his hand. "This is for you," she said brightly. It was a crayon drawing, a lopsided heart with "For Mommy" scrawled across it. "Mommy says we have to be kind to everyone, even people who look scary." Junseo stared at the drawing. Something cold inside him began to crack. Grace scooped Zoe up. "I am so sorry. She does not understand." "It is fine," Junseo said, his voice rough. He looked at Grace, at the children, at the drawing. "I will review your situation personally," he heard himself say. Grace blinked. "What? Give me a week. I will look into everything. I do not understand. Does that mean—" "It means I am not making any decisions today." He folded the drawing and slipped it into his pocket. "You will hear from me." He turned and walked to his car without looking back. But in the mirror he saw Grace still standing in the doorway. Children gathered around her. For the first time in years, Junseo Park did not know what he was going to do next. That night, Junseo could not sleep. He lay staring at the ceiling, replaying the scene, her voice trembling but steady. The oldest boy positioning himself protectively, and Zoe, with her bright smile, believing a picture could fix everything. At 2 in the morning, he grabbed his phone and called Grace's number. "Hello?" A sleepy, cautious voice. "Mrs. Williams, this is Junseo Park. I apologize for calling so late." A pause. "Mr. Park, is something wrong?" "No. I wanted to let you know I have been reviewing your situation." "At 2 in the morning? I do not sleep much." "Quieter now." "Neither do I." Junseo walked to the window. "I have gone through your records. Your service to my father was impeccable. He was a good man," Grace said softly. "Kind to me and my family after Marcus died. I miss him." "I do too," Junseo admitted. "More than I expected." Silence stretched between them, but it was not uncomfortable. "Mrs. Williams, I am not going to evict you." He heard her sharp breath. "What?" "I am going to find another solution." "Why? Why would you—" "Because your daughter gave me a drawing today, and because your husband died protecting my family, and because my father would have wanted this." Grace was silent. When she spoke, her voice was thick. "Mr. Park, I do not know what to say." "You do not have to say anything. Give me a few days." "Thank you," she whispered. "Thank you so much." After they hung up, Junseo stood at the window for a long time, feeling something shift inside him. Hope. 3 days later, Junseo drove back to Koreatown. This time the sun was shining. He pulled up to 847 Wilshire Lane. Fresh chalk drawings on the sidewalk. A rainbow. A stick figure family. When he knocked, Grace opened quickly. She was wearing a simple blue dress, looking less exhausted, more hopeful. "Mr. Park, Mrs. Williams." He held up a folder. "I have an answer. Please come in." The living room was small but cozy. Library books on the coffee table. School drawings taped to walls. A photograph of a family portrait caught his eye. Grace younger. A tall, proud man. 3 small children. The children were at the kitchen table. Marcus doing homework. Jordan building something. Zoe coloring. When Zoe saw him, she ran over. "You came back. Did you like my picture?" Junseo knelt down. "I loved it. I kept it." "Really?" Grace placed a hand on Zoe's shoulder. "Baby, go finish coloring. Mr. Park and I need to talk." Zoe ran back. "He liked my picture. He kept it." Grace gestured to the couch. "Please." They sat facing each other. Grace's hands clasped tightly. Junseo opened the folder. "My father promised you this house. A promise he intended to formalize. I have prepared the paperwork." He slid a document across. "This is a deed transfer. The house officially belongs to you, free and clear." Grace stared at the paper. Her mouth opened and closed. "I do not—" "Why would you do this?" "Because your daughter reminded me what kindness looks like. Because your husband died serving my family. Because my father would have wanted this." Grace covered her mouth, sobbing quietly. Marcus appeared in the doorway. "Mom, are you okay?" "Yes, baby, we are okay." She looked at Junseo through tears. I do not know how to thank you. Just take care of your family. That is enough. Marcus stepped closer. Does this mean we get to stay? Junseo looked at the boy. So serious. So young to carry such weight. This is your home. No one is taking it from you. Ever. Relief washed over Marcus's face. For the first time, he looked like the child he was supposed to be. Jordan appeared. We really get to stay. You really get to stay. Zoe squeezed between her brothers. Does that mean you are our friend now? Junseo felt warmth expand in his chest. I suppose it does. Zoe grinned and threw her arms around his neck. Junseo froze. He could not remember the last time anyone hugged him. Then slowly, he hugged her back. Can you stay for dinner? Zoe asked. Mommy makes really good jjigae. Grace started to apologize, but Junseo said, I would like that. Grace smiled. A real smile. Then you are welcome. Dinner in an hour. The next hour was unlike anything Junseo had experienced. Zoe climbed onto the couch with her coloring book. Do you like to color? I have not in a long time. That is sad. Here, you do the water. I will do the fish. Junseo took the crayon, feeling ridiculous. But Zoe was watching expectantly. He began coloring carefully. You are good at staying in the lines, Zoe observed. Sometimes going outside the lines makes things more interesting, Junseo said. Zoe giggled. You are funny. Marcus appeared. Junseo, I wanted to say thank you. Mom has been so worried. I did not know how to help. You helped by being here, Junseo said. By being a good son. That matters more than you know. Marcus's eyes went bright. My dad used to say family is everything. Your father was wise. I miss him. I am sure you do. Marcus looked at the crayon in Junseo's hand. Is Zoe making you color? She is very persuasive. Marcus almost smiled. Yeah, she is. Dinner was served family style. Kimchi jjigae, rice, banchan, everything homemade. It was the best meal Junseo had eaten in years. Not because it was expensive, but because it was made with care and shared with warmth. The children talked over each other. Stories about school, a field trip. Grace gently redirected them when they got too loud. But Junseo did not feel like a guest. He felt like he belonged. So, Junseo, Grace said, how did you end up in your line of work? Junseo considered. When my mother died, everything changed. My father needed me. Then I was in too deep to leave. Your father spoke of you often, Grace said softly. He was proud, but he worried. Said you had a good heart underneath. Hoped someday you would find a reason to let it show. Junseo looked at her, surprised. I think I am starting to find that reason, he said. After dinner, the children showed him their rooms. Marcus's basketball posters, Jordan's Lego chaos, Zoe's explosion of pink and stuffed animals. This is Mr. Bunny, Zoe said, holding up her worn rabbit. Daddy gave him to me before he went to heaven. He looks special. He helps me not be scared at night. What are you scared of? Zoe looked down. Sometimes I have bad dreams about Daddy, and I worry Mommy will go away too. Your Mommy loves you, Junseo said gently. She is not going anywhere. Promise? I promise. And if your Mommy ever needs help, I will be here. Zoe hugged him. Thank you, Junseo. By 9 o'clock, Junseo was leaving. Grace walked him to the door. Thank you. Not just for the house, for staying. The kids needed this. So did I. Junseo admitted. Grace tilted her head. You are not what I expected. What did you expect? Someone colder. Someone who would not color with my 5-year-old. She is persistent. She likes you. They all do. I like them too. He stepped onto the porch, then turned. If you need anything, repairs, help finding work, anything, call me. He handed her a card with his personal number. Why are you doing all this? She asked. Because I forgot what it feels like to be part of something real, and you reminded me. Grace's eyes glistened. You are welcome here anytime. Our door is always open. As he walked to his car, Zoe's voice called from a window. Bye, Junseo. Come back soon. He waved. Mr. Bunny is waving too. Junseo sat in his car looking at the house. Warm lights in the windows, shadows moving inside. The ordinary rituals of a family's evening. He had given them their home. But they had given him something too, a reason to care. Over the following weeks, Junseo found reasons to return. He brought a crew to repair the house. New roof, updated electrical, fresh paint. He covered everything, despite Grace's protests. He started arriving for dinner several times a week, sometimes with takeout, sometimes groceries. The children monopolized his attention, Zoe showing drawings, Jordan challenging him to games, Marcus asking questions about strategy. After the children slept, Junseo and Grace would sit on the porch, drinking tea, talking about everything. 3 weeks in, Grace asked the question he had been dreading. Why do you not have a family of your own? They were on the porch swing. Cool autumn evening. I never wanted to need anyone. Junseo said. After my mother died, I built my life around being untouchable. Needing people felt dangerous. And now? Junseo looked at her. The way porch light caught the warmth in her eyes. Now I think I was wrong. That must be hard to admit. Impossible, he said with a slight smile. Grace laughed. Your secret is safe. They sat in comfortable silence. How do you stay so strong? Junseo asked. After everything, I do not always feel strong, but I have 3 children who need me, so I keep going. That is courage, maybe, or maybe just love. When you love someone enough, you keep going even when everything falls apart. Junseo thought about that. He had seen love as weakness, but watching Grace with her children, he understood he had been wrong. The following week, Grace got a job. Junseo had quietly reached out to contacts. A Korean-owned hotel needed a hospitality coordinator. When she called to tell him, he could hear the joy in her voice. I start Monday. Full-time with benefits. You earned it. Did you have anything to do with this? I may have made a call, but they would not have hired you if you were not qualified. Thank you, she said softly, for everything. That Saturday, Grace cooked a thank you dinner. The house smelled incredible. Bulgogi, japchae, homemade mandu. What is all this? Junseo asked. A celebration. Dinner was filled with laughter. Zoe kept sneaking him extra mandu. Jordan told elaborate stories. Marcus smiled more than ever. Afterward, Marcus asked to speak privately. They stepped onto the porch. I wanted to say thank you, Marcus said. Not just for the house, for being here, for showing up. My dad said real strength is showing up for people you care about, even when it is hard. Your father was right. You show up, Marcus said, even though we are not your family. Junseo knelt to eye level. You have become very important to me. Showing up is the easiest thing I do. Marcus's eyes filled with tears. I miss my dad so much. I know, but I am glad you are here. Junseo pulled him into a hug. Marcus held tight. When they separated, Marcus wiped his eyes. Do not tell Mom, I cried. Your secret is safe. That evening, after the children were in bed, Junseo found Grace in the kitchen. Marcus asked if we were dating. He said. Grace turned anxious. What did you tell him? The truth, that I care about you, and that I love you. Grace's eyes widened. You told him that? He asked directly. I could not lie. What did he say? He said his father would want you to be happy. Grace's hand went to her mouth. I love you too, she whispered. I tried not to fall for you, but I could not help it. Why were you trying not to? Because it felt too fast, too good to be real. But you kept showing up, and I realized sometimes good things happen. You deserve every good thing, Junseo said. So do you? He leaned down slowly. She met him halfway. Their first kiss was gentle, a question and answer. When they pulled apart, both were smiling. I have wanted to do that for weeks, he admitted. Me too. They stood holding each other, and Junseo felt completely at peace. The weeks before Christmas were filled with joy Junseo had never known. He helped decorate the house, went shopping with Grace, attended Marcus's basketball game, built Legos with Jordan, let Zoe paint his nails purple. On Christmas Eve, he spent the evening with the family. The children opened gifts. Then Zoe handed him a badly wrapped package. This is for you. We all made it. Inside was a framed drawing, 5 stick figures in front of a house. Labeled, Mom, Marcus, Jordan, Zoe, Junseo. It is our family, Zoe said, with you in it. Junseo's vision blurred. I love it. It is the best gift I have ever received. Later on the porch, Grace said, this has been the best Christmas in years. Junseo pulled out a small box. Grace's eyes widened. It is not what you think. Not yet. But I wanted to show you how serious I am. He opened it. A delicate white gold heart pendant. It is beautiful, Grace breathed. He fastened it around her neck. Thank you for giving me a family, he said. She kissed him softly, and they sat watching the lights, dreaming of the future. In January, Junseo took all 3 children to lunch. After they ate, he took a breath. I need to ask you something important. 3 pairs of eyes fixed on him. You know I love your mother, and I love all of you. We love you too, Zoe said. I want to ask your mother to marry me, but I need to know if that is okay with you. Silence. Does that mean you would be our dad? Zoe asked. I would be your stepdad. I could never replace your father, but I would be there for you always. I want to call you Dad, Zoe said. Can I? If that is what you want. Me too, Jordan said. All eyes turned to Marcus. If you marry Mom, he said slowly, will you promise to always be there? I promise. And you will not leave like Dad did? Your father did not choose to leave, but I promise I will do everything to be here for you, always. Marcus nodded. Okay, you can marry Mom. Junseo exhaled. Thank you, all of you. When are you going to ask? Jordan demanded. Valentine's Day. That is so romantic, Zoe squealed. But it is a surprise. Can you keep a secret? They nodded enthusiastically. Good. I am going to need your help. Valentine's Day arrived. Junseo had arranged for the children to stay with Grace's friend. Grace thought it was just a nice dinner. That evening at an intimate restaurant, they talked and laughed. After dessert, Junseo suggested a walk. They strolled to a small park with lamp-lit paths overlooking a pond. I used to come here, Junseo said, when everything felt overwhelming, trying to figure out my life. Did you figure it out? Not until I met you. They stopped at a bench overlooking the water. Grace, a year ago I came to your house to remove you. It was supposed to be simple, but you opened the door, and Zoe gave me that drawing, and every wall I built started cracking. He pulled out a velvet box. Grace's eyes widened. You gave me everything I did not know I was missing. I do not want to spend another day without you. He knelt. Will you marry me? Grace stared, tears streaming. Yes, 1,000 times yes. He slipped the ring on. It fit perfectly. She pulled him up and kissed him. I love you, she said. I love you too, more than I ever thought possible. They held each other. Do the children know? Grace asked. I asked their permission first. Fresh tears fell. What did they say? Zoe wants to call me Dad. Jordan said it would be cool. Marcus gave his blessing. Grace pressed her hand to her mouth. I also want to adopt them, Junseo said. Legally, if you are okay with that. Are you sure? I have never been more sure. They are my family. You are my family. She pulled him into another kiss. When did you become such a romantic? She teased. The moment I met a woman who made me want to be one. They told the children that night. Zoe ran to Junseo. Does this mean you are going to be our dad? If that is okay. It is very okay, she declared, hugging him. Jordan crashed into them. Best day ever! Marcus stepped forward. Thanks for keeping your promise, for not leaving. I will never leave. Marcus hugged him tight. Grace watched, hand over her heart, tears streaming. Her friend put an arm around her. You found a good one. I really did. The wedding was held 3 months later in May in the backyard of 847 Wilshire Lane. White chairs, an arch of roses, string lights in the trees. Marcus walked Grace down the aisle. Jordan carried the rings. Zoe scattered petals, whispering loudly to Junseo. Do not mess up. Grace looked radiant. Simple ivory dress. The necklace from Christmas. When Junseo saw her, his breath caught. She was choosing him, choosing this life. It still felt like a miracle. The officiant spoke of love, resilience, second chances, then the vows. Junseo went first. Grace, when I came to your door, I was closed off, convinced strength meant being alone. But you showed me real wealth is not money. It is moments like this, surrounded by people who love you. He looked at the children. You gave me a family, taught me to be present, patient, brave enough to love. I promise to love you through every season, to be a partner you can count on, to honor Marcus's memory by being the best father I can be, and to wake up grateful every day that you said yes. Grace wiped her tears. Junseo, a year ago I was terrified, thought I would lose everything. But you walked in and gave me more than I ever dreamed. You showed up, not just once, every single day, for my children, for me. I promise to love you fiercely, to build a life honoring our pasts and future, and to remind you every day that you are worthy of love. By the power vested in me, the officiant said, I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss your bride. Junseo kissed Grace softly, a promise sealed. The guests cheered. Before walking back, Junseo turned to the children. Come here. They approached. He pulled out 3 small boxes. These are for you. Inside each was a silver bracelet. Marcus's engraved, strength and honor. Jordan's, courage and joy. Zoe's, love and light. These remind you that you are part of this family. Because I choose you, I choose to be your father. Zoe threw her arms around him. I love you, Dad. Jordan hugged next. Thanks, Dad. Marcus stepped forward and hugged tight. Thank you for loving us. Thank you for letting me. Grace watched, tears flowing. This was her family, complete. 5 years later, the new house was everything they hoped for. Quiet neighborhood, good schools, big backyard. Marcus was 16 now, captain of his basketball team, already thinking about college. Jordan was 12, passionate about photography. Zoe was 10, talking about becoming an artist. And there was one more addition, David Junseo Park, 3 years old, named after Grace's late husband and his adoptive father. Junseo had worried a biological child might create division. But the older kids adored their little brother. Family is family, Marcus had said. Junseo had also transformed his organization, legitimate businesses, community programs, youth initiatives. The past could not be erased, but the future could be different. That afternoon, Junseo stood in the backyard watching his family. Grace setting up a barbecue, chasing David, Marcus teaching the toddler to throw, Jordan photographing everything, Zoe making flower crowns. This was his life now. Noise and chaos and love. Daejung arrived with his family. Park, we brought dessert. Over the years, their families had become close. As the sun set, they gathered for s'mores. Zoe's idea. Junseo sat against the oak tree, Grace beside him, David asleep in her lap. Happy? She asked. Always. Marcus jogged over. Dad, can we set up volleyball? Jordan wants action shots. Dad, the word still made his heart swell. Sure. Let us go. As they walked, Marcus said, I have been thinking about college. Business. But not just any business. Helping communities. Like you helped us. Junseo stopped and looked at this young man who had once been a frightened boy. You would be amazing at that. Marcus smiled. I am glad you are my dad. I am glad I am your dad, too. As darkness fell, they packed up. Junseo carried David inside and tucked him in. He checked on the others. Marcus reading. Jordan editing photos. Zoe asleep with Mr. Bunny. In their bedroom, Grace said, Long day. Good day, Junseo corrected. The best kind. Junseo, Grace said, thank you for all of this. He turned her to face him. You gave me a life. Before you, I was just existing, building an empire that meant nothing because I had no one to share it. He cupped her face. You taught me what love looks like, what family feels like. Everything good started the day you opened that door. We are quite the pair, Grace said. Both convinced the other saved us. Maybe we both did. Maybe that is what love is. She kissed him. Later, as they lay in bed, Grace murmured, Do you ever wonder what would have happened if you sent someone else that day, all the time? And I am grateful every day that I did not. Me too, she whispered. As Grace slept, Junseo lay thinking. From lonely penthouse to house full of laughter. From trusting no one to building everything on trust and love. From measuring success in power to measuring it in moments like these. He thought about the scared woman who opened the door that rainy Thursday, and the man who stood on that porch, ready to walk away, not knowing his life was about to change. That man was gone. In his place was someone who understood the greatest power was not territory or influence. It was the people who loved you, the family you built, the home you created together. Junseo closed his eyes, content, grateful, home. Sometimes endings are beginnings in disguise. Sometimes the person you least expect changes everything. And sometimes, when you are brave enough to open your heart, you discover home is not a place. It is the people who love you exactly as you are. If this story touched your heart, share your thoughts in the comments. And if you have not already, subscribe and hit that notification bell. Thank you for being here. And remember, you never know when one act of kindness might change someone's world. Until next time.